She's egging him on. Yep.
Yeah, she's an idiot.
She's egging him on.
My class, my mom.
Oh my God. Oh shit, they're throwing eggs at her.
That's right, folks. The regressive left is getting triggered over Trump once again. And as usual, it's all Trump's fault because of his hate speech. Yet again, we have some wonderful examples of those hardworking dreamers just trying to live out the American dream by flying Mexican flags and beating up nasty, bigoted white people. In case you live under a rock, this is from the most recent protest in San Jose, California. I invite you to grab some popcorn, sit back, and enjoy. Sadly, it should come as no surprise that most of these people profess to be Bernie supporters, and yet we won't see him backing up his hypocritical statements from months back about denouncing political supporters that commit violence in the name of a political cause.
Unacceptable, and I think Senator Rubio has a legitimate concern. We got to put an end to this. Trump has got to get on the TV and tell his supporters that violence in the political process in America is not acceptable. End of discussion.
He should probably be doubly wary of these supporters of his, considering their flaunting of gang signs and their obvious Mexican nationalist views. Likely they are members of or sympathizers with La Raza, which literally translates into the race, and La Mecha. These groups are all about in-group preference and are basically hell-bent on what they call La Reconquista of Azatlan, aka most of the Southwest. And if you don't think that's such a bad thing, then you might want to actually do some research on just how much of a real rape culture they have in parts of Mexico. In case you doubt the validity of this statement, let me read some excerpts from a group that did research into how rape is prosecuted in Mexico. Rape is prosecuted at the state level, and state laws vary. A review of criminal laws in all 31 states showed that many required that if, for example, a 12-year-old girl accused an adult of statutory rape, she had first to prove she was chaste and pure. 19 of the states required that statutory rape charges be dropped if the rapist agreed to marry his victim. In many of the thousands of indigenous communities, by custom, women are essentially servants of their fathers, brothers, and husbands. In many villages around Reesh Ogpan, a woman is forbidden to go out after dusk without her husband or husband's permission. After 7 p.m., streets in village after village are populated only by men, many of them drunk. Alcoholism is another problem that contributes to violence against women. Town elders who act as judges in local criminal matters are invariably men. In one village in Guerrero State, elders were recently asked how they punished rape. The 6 men looked confused, as if they did not know what the term meant. When it was explained to them, they all laughed and said it sounded more like a courting ritual than a crime. When they stopped laughing, they said a rapist would probably get a few hours in the local jail, or he might have to pay the victim's family a $10 or $20 fine, but that all would be forgotten if he and the victim married. In the case of a cattle thief, they said he would be jailed, and unlike the rapist, a cattle thief would be brought before the elders for a lecture about the severity of their crime. Getting back to the subject at hand, many leftists in government and media, of course, are defending the actions of these rioters in true doublethink fashion. The mayor of San Jose, who is, it should come as no surprise, is an avowed Hillary supporter, went on the attack saying that Trump was inciting these violent acts with his rhetoric. When confronted about why San Jose police did almost nothing to quell the protests, he replied, "We are not an occupying force and cannot reflect the chaotic tactics of the protesters." The police chief also decided to pat himself on the back for holding back his officers and making a grand total of 6 arrests, and of course, only in the aftermath of the riots themselves. One Vox reporter, Emmett Renson, not only excused but actually urged on the rioters in a series of tweets during the day. For this, he only received a suspension from his post at Vox and will undoubtedly be back to make inflammatory statements soon enough. I have little doubt. Because of this event, I will have to revise my earlier statements about Black Lives Matter being the probable ringleaders of full scale rioting come November. It appears that many of the Hispanic groups will also be involved in inciting the violence, unfortunately. These groups certainly have better awareness behind a firearm than many of the social justice warriors, and unfortunately, that will probably lead to some especially nasty outcomes. I really do wonder, though, if we're going to have to wait until November, though, as I'm actually seeing a lot of chatter on various areas of the internet about Bernie supporters starting a revolution at the Democratic National Convention whenever the nomination is undoubtedly going to be handed over to Hillary. Granted, I doubt they can stir up as much violence as Black Lives Matter in the Hispanic groups, but this will certainly serve to inflame tensions brewing within these groups. There's little doubt, it seems, that this will go down in history as one of the most contentious nomination processes in Democratic history since 1968. Well, I am hoping for the best of outcomes and, of course, actively trying to avoid them by doing my small part, at least, to get this information out there. I do fear that tough times are ahead for the US. I'm interested to hear my audience thoughts on this, though, and I urge you to please comment below. As always, like, share, and subscribe. If you have any spare coin, please feel free to donate to my Patreon. This is Rush the Zeppelin, signing out.